Hello, magic makers. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this reading is for you. A transmission through the Serpent Gate, a page in the Codex, and perhaps a message you were meant to remember. Before we begin, please light the fire and hit the like button. Every like you leave is a torch lit along the spiral road. Every comment, a sigil etched into the vault of echoes. And if this message resonates, consider subscribing and joining our journey through the temple. If there is anything you wish for me to hold in light or carry into the temple with you, a prayer, protection, or intention, speak it below. Now, these readings are not predictions, they are transmissions. And I am merely the messenger. The meaning is yours to uncover. Open the temple within and listen for what echoes back, because the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Here we start with the Four of Swords. I feel that you're a very accepting person. Okay? I feel like you don't really like conflict. You tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, you know. I think that you try to keep your mind focused on or paying attention to your heart, right? Kind of see all four of these swords pointed inward. And I think that I think you tend to base your decisions in life on your emotional compass, okay? And what this card then becomes is the magical circle of protection, that you're able to keep out unwanted influences, keep out the opinions of others, or outside expectations, or any kind of frequencies coming in, so that you can hear your heart, you can feel what that center says to you. This is a card of meditation. This is a card of mental fortification. So it makes sense there. We're looking for that centeredness so we can really feel, so we can hear, hear the voice in the silence. And we can hear what our soul is trying to tell us. Yeah. I think that's how you try to live your life. Yeah. So what is your soul saying to you? What do you hear in the silence of your heart right now? Yeah. I feel like there's been a message, and maybe it comes through dreams. Maybe this is really about like when your conscious mind is shut off, or your intellectual waking mind is shut off. What does your dream tell you? Yeah, I kind of feel like you've been dreaming about an ancestor recently. Yeah, something about a lineage, something about unfinished business with a past relevant ancestor energy. Anyway, let's put this card into a little bit of context. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. Got a Wheel of Fortune, look at that. Trusting your tender heart, right? Trusting your emotion trusting your compass is going to lead to a lot more expansion, growth, and prosperity and abundance. Your destiny is calling you. Yeah, this is wonderful. Okay, so we have a 10 of Cups, yes, an 8 of Pentacles. I kind of feel there's been some like home repair or something happening, right? Some kind of either you're moving or you're rearranging something at home. I don't know, you did that recently or something, yeah? I'm feeling that. Let's keep going anyway. We have a 2 of Pentacles. Making some changes. We have a 5 of Swords. We have the Adjustment card. We have more air, Queen of Swords. We have a Princess of Wands and a 3 of Pentacles. I feel like in some way you're picking up old unfinished work of your lineage or your heritage or your culture or your ancestors, and you're kind of like keeping that work alive. Does that make sense? Maybe you're inheriting some kind of a responsibility, or the torch kind of is being passed to you in a way. And you're continuing on some kind of work like that. Yeah. You got a lot of air energy around here. I feel like maybe there is some kind of a revelation that's coming out, or a truth that's being revealed in a family situation. Okay. I feel like you're a very protective person. Yeah, very protective person. And, yeah, well, you know what? Let's select our hidden key from the codex, the unseen cipher, the one truth yet unrevealed. This is one card pulled at random, a fragment of the codex beyond the known spread. Represents the factor infinite and unknown, what the watchers have not yet allowed us to see. And we're going to set it down right here with big red ant right on top. Now, we're not going to look at that hidden key until the end of the transmission. But when we do, it will bring all the threads together. It will confirm the prophecy. And it will close the current page of the codex. If you feel the pulse of intuition, if the dove current is whispering to you, tell me what you sense. Leave a comment. What do you think the hidden key will reveal? You don't need to know the cards. You don't have to know tarot to participate. What do you feel will be the message of that card? Okay. Anyway, let's look around the room. We see 1, 2 major arcana energies. We see the Wheel of Fortune, and we see your higher wisdom and discernment. Basically, what this is saying is that your centeredness, you using your heart as a compass, okay, silent and quieting your mind, that stillness, that centeredness, that meditative mind, okay, that is allowing you to tap into that central lotus of your heart, okay, is allowing you to make the right decisions, higher wisdom and discernment decisions, okay, to know which way to go and what choice to make and what has value and what doesn't, what holds weight for you and what doesn't. When the universe gives you any kind of situation, the Wheel of Fortune is basically divine timing. It's the spiritual timepiece. It's the cosmic wristwatch. I'm not wearing my special watch today. It doesn't really fit in these tight sleeves anyway. The universe will give you things, good things, bad things, ups and downs, twists and turns. This is your spiral road. This is everything, well, I should say this is everything that happens on the spiral road. Happens to you, through you, and for you. Okay? The universe providing you with people, places, and things in the right place at the right time. And this is how you adjust to that. This is how you deal with that. This is how you respond to those things. Okay? This is how you adjust yourself. You know? And I think that is the essence. That's the name of the game. That's the essence of things for you. Okay? You're using your heart as that compass. I think there is some kind of an ancestral dream or something that is appearing to you, a sign, a symbol, a synchronicity that's happening in that stillness that may be leading to some shift, a move, or some kind of a sacred rearrangement of your life. Okay? I think that you're kind of like, I almost feel like you're lighting a candle for your lineage. And maybe that's a practice that you can do is light one candle for that lineage. I don't know exactly what that is or what it's about, but I feel like you're kind of continuing on with some kind of work in that way. Maybe it's healing work, maybe it's overcoming some kind of generational trauma, or it's clarifying some mystery from your history or your ancestry or your culture. Or in that lineage, coming to a deeper understanding of the function of your role in that long line of souls. Okay? It seems it's a family, but it's extending back into time. Okay? Some kind of a family truth being revealed here. Liberating, I think, liberating a lot. Liberating strength. Liberating kind of connection. Yeah. And I wonder if there are some tears here. Overwhelming emotions, right? Tears as a cleansing ritual. Okay. Anyway, the majors, yes, okay. Then we have fire, and we've got water. Then we have air, air, and air. We have earth, earth, and earth. Okay? So this is really about you staying tapped into your heart. Your heart is, in a way, kind of like guiding you. Yeah, guiding your thoughts, motivating your behaviors, and influencing your choices. Okay, that heart is really that truth inside of you, that the value, right? What means the most to you. And that is informing your heart, right? Is informing your thoughts. And your thoughts are informing your actions, right? So the water underneath is influencing the air energy. The air energy is telling your body kind of how to move, right? What to actually do. It's guiding your behaviors. Okay? And that's all based, I think, on whatever this sign is telling you. Now, the Four of Swords is your current position on the spiral road. Is kind of is like almost an X marks the spot on the map, right? This is where you are. And I think right now you're at a point in your spiral road journey where you're being told to pay attention. Stop thinking so much. Shh, be quiet. Telling your thoughts, calm down. You know, get into that meditative state, breathe. Let the mind relax, still the mind, so that you can perceive the sign, symbol, and synchronicity that Spirit is sending your way, so that you can kind of get that guidance from your intuition. Okay, this is how you summon that quiet voice within you. You can't hear it when there's so much noise around. So we get into that quiet space. And then you can intuitively know what choice to make because of the Wheel of Fortune, because position 2, the battle. This is what you're facing right now. You're facing an event that's happening in your life that is outside of your control. And Spirit is saying, this is what's for you. How are you going to handle it? How are you going to respond? Okay, I think the answer is coming to you in a dream. It has something to do with ancestors and generational stuff. I'm not sure exactly the details. Okay? But you're kind of trusting that whatever is happening now is meant for you. And you're supposed to be here dealing with this at this point in time. Whatever's happening, you're in the right place at the right time. And I don't feel that it's anything devastating or earth-shaking or world-shattering. I think it is something that's going to lead to an emotional release. Okay, it's some information, it's a conversation, it's some kind of I think like your dream perhaps is pointing you in a particular direction, or a vision that you had, or something like that. There's a sign that's appearing to you, kind of telling you where to look. Okay? And it may be that you're stepping into your proper role in this lineage. But there's something that's been either misunderstood or something that's been something that's not been flowing through you. You know what I mean? And that's kind of bringing us to that 10 of Cups. I feel like this is a lot of water that's dammed up inside of you. It's in a bit of a reservoir. This is in your soul. Your soul wants to liberate this. This is the cry beneath the silence, right? Your soul knows, even if your conscious mind has forgotten. This is a card usually of bliss. This is a card of family. This is a card kind of lineage even, right? This is maybe family that extends off into every direction infinitely. It's not just 10 people. It's an infinite number of something, right? That's what I say about the 10s. It's not a cap. It's open-ended. Well, it's open-ended at the top. It can be, life can be, it can go on and on and on and on. Your bliss, your happiness, your satisfaction, there is no limit to it. But what if it's open-ended at the other end too? And so what if this is really saying that your your role in the larger human lineage and in your specific family line, let's say, or your magical line, your place is a very important place. And it could be that, this is your acceptance of your role in this bigger picture. Okay? But there's something that's been kind of preventing you from accepting the role, or like something that hasn't been configured right in your life to allow this energy to flow freely through you. Okay? There's some kind of a truth that's being revealed. It's liberating a lot of energy, and the tears maybe are going to flow. But this is a cleansing. Okay? This to me feels like, it feels like a lot of emotional release. Okay? Because this is the only water we have. Okay? It's the only water in the entire spread. And it's all the water. Okay, so something has been preventing all of this water from flowing, and that satisfaction or that bliss or that the feeling, the emotional connection with this lineage or with your people or with your culture. However you want to look at that, or maybe just with your family, right? This is what your soul knows. But you maybe have forgotten this. This is a card of everything being connected. The feeling like in our diversity there is unity. Okay, the feeling of overwhelming connection and bliss to the bigger, the larger, lineage. Maybe this is your not feeling so connected with your history, or not knowing your history or your lineage or your ancestry. Maybe you come from a long line of barbers, or, a long line of mediums or channels or psychics, okay, or warriors, right? Not feeling like you are really connected with that. Maybe from a long line of mystics or, philosophers, I don't know. I think that something is reminding you of that, reminding you of kind of who you are, where you come from, and what your role is supposed to be in this larger life, the larger the larger road, larger spiral. Now in the background, we have the Eight of Pentacles, okay? And maybe the Eight of Pentacles is the life as you knew it before. The routine life, just kind of cultivating something, trying to maybe establish some roots. Maybe this is, you see, this is the fourth position. This is the position of the chain. Maybe in your life you felt stuck in that ancestry, in that lineage. You felt like it was kind of maybe a curse, something you were chained to, instead of something that we are happy and proud to be a part of, So it feels like there's something that's been unresolved, either a misunderstanding, some kind of a memory that needs to be examined again, or some kind of truth that needs to come out. Because these are your roots. So you might be somebody that kind of has been, avoiding their roots, not wanting to be part of their roots. But I think something is happening in a dream or a sign or some kind of synchronicity is happening that's allowing you that realization that you are part of this and that you need to embrace your roots, return to your roots, and continue cultivating that, or to pay attention to something in the past that then can help you to make the changes that need to be made in that lineage so that you can carry this energy forward. Maybe it's about releasing a generational curse or fixing something from the past that can realign the trajectory of that lineage. Does that make sense? because these are the roots. Okay? And since this is also the chain position, you feel chained to this history, right? That maybe, you didn't exactly ask to be a part of. I think maybe there's something deeper there. This is perhaps, something that your soul did choose, but consciously anyway. This is something that you feel like you're kind of stuck with, but you'd rather not be. Okay. I think you're realizing that there is value here. This is not something to reject. Okay, and as the chain, it's kind of asking, do you carry it with you or do you break it? Now, if it's a chain, you're going to break it. You're going to distance yourself from this. But if these are your roots, you're going to carry them with you. You're going to rely on them. You're going to take nourishment from them. And this is all that water stored underground. I think it means really that there is a lot of value, a lot of nourishment in your history, in your lineage, or your ancestry, or your roots, or culture, whatever you want to call it. There is a lot of value and nourishment there. But you've got to deepen your roots, strengthen those roots, so those roots can really dig down and tap into the water table. Yeah. So this is either about you kind of discovering your ancestry or your heritage, okay, or reconnecting with it. And the Two of Pentacles up here is change. It's voluntary change. It's intentional change. It is you being proactive. It's the giant position, right? It's the untapped power. And it's sort of what is going to help you to cross the serpent gate. And this is about you realizing that your power is the power to change the trajectory of this lineage. Again, it feels as if you are in some way correcting something from the past, or breaking a generational kind of curse, or healing a generational trauma. You're making the change. It's kind of like that's your task right now, is to correct that. Does that make sense? Because then this road travels forward from you. Okay? So it's kind of like you're changing the course on the spiral road. You're the one that's kind of changing the branch of the family tree, the direction that it's growing. Okay? But only after you accept the fact that you're part of that tree, then you say, okay, well, I'm not going to let it grow in that way anymore. I'm going to correct that. I'm going to make it grow in the right way. Realizing that you have the power to do this, and I really think like you're the only one that has that power. Okay, you're kind of the guardian of this lineage, and it's up to you now to make the right change. The Five of Swords in the future position, that's the image in the mirror. Okay? That is a repetition of negative thinking that's creating your form. You are sculpting yourself into that. Okay? Someone who is becoming less and less connected with that kind of spirit. You see, the spiritual point, the spiritual sword is at the bottom. It's being buried under the weight of this daily life, This is us disconnecting with the spirit. This is maybe negative self-dialogue, that internal dialogue, negative self-talk, self-criticism, self-denial. This is doubt. You know what we need to do is we need to do an oracle of affirmation, a language of flowers affirmation card. Azalea. Temperance. Find balance and be centered. Okay, be centered. Because the Five of Swords is stress, confusion. In the chaos, finding nothing but more chaos. Not having any answers. Not knowing what to do, feeling confused and lost in life. Maybe not knowing who we are, not knowing where we're going. Not feeling like we're a part of anything, not feeling like we belong anywhere. Okay? What we want to do is turn this card upside down. Put Spirit back on top. Let Spirit take the wheel. Embrace, accept, believe in, trust. Trust whatever it is that Spirit is showing us. Okay? Every word you say to yourself is creating yourself, is creating who you are. This is somebody that is not in harmony with the universe. In their mind, has doubts, is not centered, is off balance, frustrated, stressed out. Okay? I think that's something that's changing here. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. The Libra energy, the adjustment card. This is your higher wisdom and discernment. Okay? This is your ability to make choices, value judgments. You're able to weigh the options. What do you give weight to in your life? What really matters to you? What outweighs everything else for you? What's important to you? That's what you're having to pause and get that stillness and look inside. And whatever it is that you find inside there, okay, you've got to trust it. You've got to believe in it. You've got to flip that card upside down. You've got to let Spirit kind of show you the way. This is your compass now pointing north. Okay, first of all, it points within. It says you got to reconnect with your roots. You got to reconnect with your spiritual roots, reconnect with Source. And then you let that energy direct you where to go. Then your compass is pointing outward, out there into the world, showing you what decisions to make. Do you go left? Do you go right? You go 5-degree down bubble. You're able to make real-time choices based on what the correct course of action is for you. You're able to judge something's relative value in real time. Okay. This is the card also of perhaps soul contracts. Okay. Perhaps this is like officially you're stepping into this agreement that you have with yourself, with Spirit, with your heritage, with your ancestors, and kind of saying, I accept my role. Maybe you're accepting your role as the one who has to correct the balance, restore the balance, correct something that has gone awry in your lineage. Okay. This is also the persona. That's the way other people see you. Other people see you perhaps as a judge, but you don't see yourself as that. This is how other people are seeing you. And you're someone that makes good choices. People trust your decisions. When you make a ruling, people say, okay, that's it. Cancer knows what they're talking about. This must be the right choice. Okay. And well, the way you see you is that you're not the one making the decision, Spirit is. Because you are trying not to make a judgment. That's what the Four of Swords really is. Not judging things. Not judging anything, trusting that the Wheel of Fortune, Spirit, the signs, symbols, and synchronicities will point me in the right direction. Other people say, wow, that Cancer, they always know the right direction. It's like you don't need a map. You just know how to get everywhere in town. And people see that and they think, well, you really know the town, don't you? And you're like, no, I just kind of something in me just tells me which way to go. I just feel it. Yeah, so that's kind of the contrast between these cards. But I think people need you to be that person that can direct and lead, really, right? Lead the course. And I hate to keep, overusing that word lineage, but I don't know what else to call this. People need you to be at the front, sort of, picking which way to go, navigating, right? Navigating. And I think this is about you taking on that role and accepting that. Now, in the shadow position, you have your Queen of Swords. Yeah. The Queen of Swords is ready to see the truth. Okay? The Queen of Swords is able to look at what you have been avoiding. And maybe it is that there has been a need for some healing in the history, in the past here. In order to move forward, we have to reconnect with those roots, and we have to be able to heal that tree. Maybe it's the family tree. And maybe you do that by accepting this role and correcting what has gone astray, correcting the imbalance. Okay. The Queen of Swords is a very objective type of energy. Okay. And it's it's kind of, well, in a way, it reminds me now of our Four of Swords. Because it's air on the outside because it's protecting the water on the inside. Yeah. There's an objectivity here that is, I'm having trouble because it's objectivity, but it's very subjective because it's about you. It's about you trusting your intuition. Well, by the very definition, that's a subjective experience. Trusting some kind of a subjective feeling, right, about the world around you, rather than just observing and those are the facts and that's what's given me my knowledge, right? And so it's really, it's a contrast here. But I think the Queen of Swords is someone who has that value, that truth, that heart energy, that water, right, in a very hostile environment, trying to stay true to that source, that heart energy, that love, even when there are a lot of other opinions, even when there's a lot of static, a lot of other voices, a lot of thoughts swirling around, okay? The Queen of Swords as the shadow, it might be that you've been kind of avoiding the truth for a long time, that you've known for a long time that this is your kind of role in life, or this is what you're supposed to do, but you've been avoiding that. Okay, it's the kind of reluctant hero. The reluctant hero. I think you're accepting that now because it's no longer in the shadows. Okay. The Princess of Swords, or Princess of Wands, excuse me, is in the mirage position, the illusion. This is the fear, okay? It's kind of the fear, I think, of repeating the same mistakes, of not wanting to connect with this family or this lineage, because then you feel like you are, you're aligning your energy with that family tree, and so you're doomed then to repeat the same mistakes that were made here. That then you will kind of lose the power, and you will have to succumb to the same fate. Does that make sense? That you're doing something rather dangerous, kind of dancing with a tiger here. by aligning yourself with this or by claiming this energy, then you kind of feel like you're taking on a lot of, if it is a generational curse, right? By you aligning yourself with this lineage or this family tree, that you're then going to be a victim of that curse too. But the realization of this card is that whether you consciously connect with it or not, that energy is with you. So might as well do something consciously with full awareness than to have it affect you without your sort of knowledge or consent. The Three of Pentacles at the end here, that is your work, that is your effort. That is you taking on this role and accepting the burden of it. Understanding the process of change on the physical plane, knowing what things need to be done, knowing that it's going to be a difficult road, knowing that it's going to take a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But I think it's you kind of accepting that, yeah, this is your work right now in life. And I think it's taking a kind of a physical form. Okay, it's something that you're doing in the external world. Maybe it's has something to do with helping others, or starting a business, starting an organization, bringing people together. Okay, maybe it's kind of like starting small, building something up gradually. Yeah. I'm very curious what this is. Let's look at the mystery card. Maybe that will shed a little bit more light on things. Okay. What do you think it's going to be? I would like to see a card of healing. I want to see a 6 of something. 6 of Cups would be perfect. A 4 of Cups, I think, would be okay. Let's see what we have. The Tower. To me, is liberation. To me, this is freedom. To me, I feel that this is a turning point. This is when the trajectory, right? The timeline shifts. Okay, through your efforts. I think that you are, if it is a generational curse, you're breaking it. Putting an end to that. I think this is the moment that everything kind of changes. I feel like it's a liberation of it's the dam breaking for all that water energy. And I feel like this is a revelation for you. I feel like your life is going to be a lot different from this moment on. And this is a disruptive card. This is a card of sudden change. Okay, usually this is a card that reminds us that even those unexpected, world-shaking kind of events are meant to happen in our lives and lead to improvement, lead to something better for us. So it's all about the trust that you have in the universe, that this tower, this liberation, is for your ultimate good. Okay. So I feel like you are it's almost feel like something stops with you, you know what I mean? But I think that this is about you removing any obstacles or anything that's been preventing you or barring you from accepting this role. Yeah, I feel like this is definitely something about your history, roots, heritage. Yeah, and this is the moment, I think, where you accept that role and you step into it. It's an exclamation point. And I think it's saying that before this was a different life. After this is a completely different path. This is your contribution to the way that family tree is growing. You know, that it was on a particular course trajectory, but now with you, you're doing something that's going to make it change course. And I think that is a good thing. You're altering the future. I think what you're doing is you're realigning this lineage with its proper trajectory and its proper destiny. Very often, Tower events are not pushing you off course. They're trying to push you back on course. They're trying to get you back to your true north. So I think you're correcting the trajectory of this larger group or history or this lineage of energy or initiates or whatever it is. Maybe you can tell me the story, yeah, but it's powerful, very powerful. Now this transmission will continue beyond the gate. In the extended reading, we'll cast an I Ching hexagram, we'll draw from the oracle, and we'll open a new cluster of keys from the codex. If you feel called to continue, the path is open. There's a link in the corner and there's one below the video. New transmissions for Aries arrive each Sunday and Thursday, so be sure to, Wednesdays and Sundays, yeah, for Cancer. Sorry. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. It aligns your signal with the dove current and ensures your next page in the codex will find you. Leave a comment and let me know where along the spiral road you're watching from. Helps us to map the resonance of the temple. I want you to remember you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. The codex reveals itself through you. I thank you, I love you, and we are all walking this path together.